Talking to your friend, you can say, like, oh, you know, I messaged him, but it's still on D.
Exactly.
It's not on R. What do I do? You know, we've all had that. Everyone has that.
Hello, and welcome to Girl Talk, Lip Gloss and Candy Floss. We have a special guest in the house today. She goes by the name of Princess NYAH. Can we all make some noise for our beautiful Princess NYAH? Hey. Yeah, baby. This is Adi, of course, my housemate. This is Chantal, of course, my housemate. This is Alex, my housemate. And together we are all housemates, and we have our special guest. We've got another topic that we're going to have a little chat about today.
Why do guys like bitches?
First of all, let's define bitches.
A bitch is not like a bitch hoe. Rapper style. Yo, bitch, hoe. It's not that. Do you mean like a bitch who's cold, who backs off, who's a bit standoffish?
Like a boss bitch.
Yeah, like a boss bitch.
I used to be one of those. No, I did. I think they prefer somebody who is actually just going to give them the chase. Somebody who is able to scare them a little bit, and somebody who they know that actually I'm not going to be able to play games with this girl just because it's a challenge. Everybody loves a challenge, and if you're not a challenge missy, make yourself a challenge, but be real to who you are.
With me, I'm a quiet person, aren't I? So with boys, I'm awkward at the beginning, and it tends to benefit me because they kind of chase me a bit.
In a situation where I've been, or a guy's been chasing me, like, if I'm interested, I'll show my interest, and if he isn't interested back after that point, whatever, I'm done. He's done. I think it's a bit different with girls and boys though, because if it's a girl and a girl, the situation's completely different. It's intense from the beginning and you know what that person wants.
In my experience, I feel like there's always one person that's into the other person a bit more.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like a tug of war throughout the relationship. And in the beginning, if you're titled as like a bit of a boss bitch, then you kind of keep him at arm's length and he's like, wow, my God, like this girl, she's not showing no interest. And then finally what happens is it flips over because he does so much. So you're like, oh my God, he's great. And then it's like, bang, he's in control and you're in his place.
Yeah, I think like when a guy finally gets the girl and then like the chain reaction just completely changes, and that's an instance where a girl shows her whole vulnerability. The tug of war needs to be there like through the whole relationship. It can't just go as soon as you realise that you love him. You need to let him know that he still needs to work, otherwise that's when he gets bored and starts trying to find another boss bitch.
After he's like put so much effort into that chase and he's got this woman that he really wants and she turns out to be amazing and she's this and she's that, why does he then, as soon as she flips and she's like, actually, yeah, I really do like this guy, let me start showing him a little bit
then he's won the game, he's won.
How does anything continue when a guy's like, okay, cool, I've got her where I want her, now let me go and chase somebody else? That is something that I just cannot stand, and I feel like people who have that mentality, especially guys, is such a young mentality. Yeah. And I can't deal with it. In one breath I can say that, but then in the other breath I can actually say, you know what, when a guy shows me too much attention,
I don't like
it. Yeah. You can say you want everything in the world, and if he gives it to you too quickly, it's like, I always used to say, you know, like I want a guy who's gonna cook and clean and do all of this stuff, but really, if he done that all on the first day, I'd probably be like, oh, you're so soft.
I had the most perfect person, but I got bored.
So hold on, does that make us all hypocrites?
I think it's part of the challenge. If it's too easy, I don't want it.
The hardest thing to attain, everybody wants. So why would you want a girl that is really, really easy? You would want a girl that is going to be really hard to get, and once you get her, the guy probably feels really good because it's like, yeah, like I got her.
And it's about getting that equal power, so that sometimes it's just there and then sometimes it's just over here. Yeah. And I think that's the hardest thing to find. I think that's actually
quite healthy in a relationship.
So when I'm originally getting into a relationship or getting into a thing with a guy, it kind of works to my benefit because I'm so standoffish, but it's not intentional, it's just how I am. And I don't think it's me being a bitch, I just think I think it's healthy for a girl, actually.
You just have to understand your self-worth and know that no means no. And even if you love someone, you have to still be very strong and be very firm and let them know that, yeah, it's cool and I do love you, but hey. You still need to be a little bit of the disciplinarian, which I think most women, as soon as they fall in love, they lose all sense of boss.
Yeah. Like,
it's like, oh, I worship you, I will have your children, and everything's fine. Well, it's like, well, no, maybe you should still be a bit firm and know that, okay, cool, I do love you, but hey, like, you still need to keep up with what you was keeping up with in the probationary period.
Okay, that's relationship, but what about when you actually get to know somebody?
I think it's good as
when they go cold with you and you're like, what the fuck? Because I'm busy and things, I don't have time to text people all the time, and then they're all keen. I'm like, oh, go away. But then when you suddenly start showing interest, it's like, where are they?
If I'm busy, I haven't got time to be texting all the time and responding to messages and phone calls and everything. So guys are probably thinking, oh yeah, it's a little bit of a challenge here, like I'm on it. And then when suddenly you're like, oh, they're making the effort, I kind of like this a little bit, you start giving yourself a little bit more and the vulnerability goes. They're like, back on off for now.
Let's come up with the top 3 tips for a female to stay a boss bitch?
I think making sure you have your own life. Like what you just said there is perfect. You're not personally being, you know, distant from someone. You're just actually busy. But at the same time, when you make the time for that person, they should appreciate that. Well, great, she is making time.
The one thing that I hate to do is play games.
I don't want to say play a game, but you have to be clever. You have to think about decisions you make on what you do.
Let me tell you something. I am busy, okay? I don't want to play games, and I am honest. So when it comes down to it, if a guy who I can be myself with, which no, I'm not a boss bitch. I'm a boss bitch in my work and I'm a boss bitch in my career. But when it comes down to it, I know how to, you know, come across a certain way in a certain situation. With my man, I don't want to pretend to be somebody who I'm not.
You know, when you're talking to your friends, you say, oh, you know, I messaged him, but it's still on Deeds. Yeah, it's not on R. What do I do? You know, he's changed his BB status. Like, do I say anything now? Because obviously he's been on, he's been on. It's like, well, it's all a game.
So, top tip number 1, have your own life, be busy and stuff. Top tip number 2, if he messages you and it says but it doesn't say D, don't message back.
Yes.
So in other words, play the game. And what's the third top tip?
You have to be honest, like, and don't ask your friends what do you think he means by this. You have to ask him because everyone's like, well, he said this, so what do you think about that? Well, I'm not a guy, I don't know, and I don't know what he's thinking. So you have to be honest. And sometimes you don't like what you're gonna hear back, but it's better just to be honest.
What do you guys think? Get involved. Make sure you comment below, like the video, and don't forget to subscribe.
Oh, we want to hear from boys too.
Yes.
And men.
Boys and men.
Boys
and men. Mainly men.
If it's an open relationship, you're in a relationship where you sleep with other people.
But your feelings
should
dictate your
relationship.
actions. If you feel a certain way, you wouldn't disrespect somebody by sleeping with somebody else.
disrespectful.